I drew tarot cards, one
Hmm.
for today and one for me, one for my friend Jennifer, who I'm going to be doing portal stuff with later, and one for you.
Aha.
So I was going to go over that quickly with you as well. But hello, everybody. We are recording, so we are going to move
Oh.
on with this. I'm Raven, and this is Peter. And we are going to talk about something very interesting that came up for me with the moon. And so just think about this for a sec, you guys. Did you know that every night as you sleep, an ancient force 37 times smaller than the Earth is actively reshaping your soul's journey through eternity? Think about that for the moon instead of just the thing that you look at that moves the tides, that shifts things on Earth, makes people act a little crazy on if it's full. We're going to get into this and a soul's journey. And I asked my friend Peter to be here because he's a master astrologer, you guys, and he can help us with this journey because it ties directly into the Akashic records of how what moon you choose to be born in is written in your soul contract, and that also affects your life on this earth. So you're picking it ahead of time, and then he's going to help us figure out all of those different moon signs and different things that could be affecting us in life and anything else that he wants to add. Welcome, everybody. And hey, Peter, I miss you. I haven't seen you for a while.
It's great to catch up with you.
You went on vacation. Where'd you go?
Yeah, I went to Greece. I went to Meteora, where all the monasteries are, and I went
Nice.
to the Temple of Delphi,
Oh, very
which was
nice.
quite incredible. Yeah, I had quite an
Yes.
experience there, actually.
I bet
Um,
you did.
when you have a certain awareness, you can feel history breathing on your neck.
Yes.
I
That's a
think that
lot of history right
a lot
there.
of history, and you're treading the steps that the ancients trod.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was quite incredible. It's been a lifetime dream for me to go there because my great aunt, because my ancestry is Greek, had an image of a monk being hauled up in a barrel. That's the
Nice.
only way
Yeah,
you could
yeah.
get up there.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought I got to see that. And it's looking at why do people withdraw into the silence? And then you've got people like you and I who are more hermit-like, but we still have to engage with the world
Yeah.
reluctantly, but we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. It's a catch-22 for my zodiac sign. Libras love to be out and be like, hey, but then what I am and who I am, and then I'm staying home.
But the beautiful thing about Librans is that they invite multiple perspectives.
Oh, yeah.
They look at different perspectives, which is a great thing. The downside of that is that you could rationalize yourself into indecision.
Yes. Yes. That's a
That's the other thing. So,
welcome to hanging out with a Libra, you guys. One second we're like, oh, this sounds fun. The next second we're like, oh, we're going here instead. Yeah, that's us.
yeah.
So letting Peter know that I drew some cards before our podcast today because it is the 8-8 portal. It has been going on for a while. Will continue to go on, but obviously this is the big day. The card that I pulled up for it, it's hard to see, Unity. That is a perfect card for this portal. It's an arcanic card, so I'll read it to you guys. Do the right thing for the right reason. Compare traditional versus new approaches to see which way works for you. A spiritually minded community. So, with this portal and all of the shifts that are going on in the world, the whole world needs to unite. I actually just made an Instagram post about this too because it was like really impressed upon me that I needed to share this message. What came through for me while I held this card, and I had to like even reflect upon myself with everything going on in the world, we are going to have to face the facts that we are all going to have to unite. So, like in the example I gave just now on Instagram, I'm like, I might literally have to walk side by side with a Nazi across America to siege on our government because of whatever's happening. We need to grow together. We need to work together. And especially in America, where everybody is allowed to be themselves, you need to learn to accept people. You don't have to like them. You don't have to go along with whatever they're doing, but there has to be some kind of unity that starts to happen. So that's the vision that I got. And then, yeah, so unity, good card for today. And then, of course, Peter, I pulled yours. And you got an Arcanic card too. You got the Emperor.
That's my card.
That's your card. Use logic and structure to increase your success. Get organized. A firm but compassionate leader. Sorry, it's hard for me to read without glasses on. I'm like, a firm but compassionate leader. So there's the long story of your card here, which I'll send to you. I won't bore everybody with reading the whole long story of your card, but it's pretty impressive. And it goes along with today too.
Can you not give me some highlights?
You want, I can give them to you, yeah. I
Just
just didn't
some
know if you
highlights would be
wanted to.
cool. Yeah.
Cool. It's not that long, but so any dream needs love and passion to grow. But it also takes careful thinking and good leadership. Staying organized with a methodical plan can be important to fulfilling your life's purpose. It is very easy to get caught up in the excitement of your dreams and then forget the important details. Preparation at the beginning will save you a great deal of time that you can use to bring your plans to life. You have what it takes to be a skillful and sympathetic leader. You communicate your vision, find words that inspire, but also show your heartfelt connection for those around you. Seek out wise counsel from those that you have experiences with. The globe at the top of the emperor's staff. It's hard to see these pictures in these. I'm trying to zoom it in on Zoom for you. If you could see it, there's a globe at the top of the emperor's staff that symbolizes that the concerns of the world are his primary focus, and that requires sound judgment. However, heart shows the compassion for others is also a part of the decision-making process. The emperor stands beneath a rose window, symbolizing Christ's 12 disciples and the importance of teamwork, support, and leadership. And the additional meanings are thinking things through logically, word things successfully, relying on intellect, balancing daily concerns with the big picture, and father figures, as in one sentence, and
Mm.
taking responsibility for others. You have a lot of responsibility for others, but I've known that for a long time.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a good card for you too. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, here we go. So here we go, you guys. We're gonna get into the moon is a collector spot for souls. So what started me on this path, I'll start with this, is the world famous psychic Edgar Casey. I watch YouTube videos in the morning because I teach really early in the morning, and when I have a downtime, I have to watch something or I'll fall asleep. So I watch YouTube videos. And there was a little thing on him. So I was like, oh yeah, Edgar Casey. And the moon and how it's a like cleanser for souls. And I was like, huh? Like this thought never has come to me. I've never heard him speak about it. It was just new. So I was like, so I watched the little documentary that this person had put together. It was not that long. But then I Googled and researched Edgar Casey and actually what he did say just to make sure this person wasn't crazy. But yeah, that is what he did see in his visions. And I had to go into the Akashic Records room and I'm like, hey, yo, peeps. I'm like, what's up with this story? And it's very true. And it was a very interesting session. It lasted quite a while. I went and found it would be my past self now, even though time is like intermingling all the time. But I went there and made contact with myself before I came here. I also saw a lot of other souls. They just look like energy, but I did also see the beings that are there that are meant to heal us and make us stronger and prepare us for this journey. Because this is the only place in the universe that this happens, because Earth is such a violent place to live that you can't just go like you would on a normal universal journey. So they had form. Mostly they were like just vibrating with like light and energy, but within them you could see like form a little bit. They had weird oblong shaped heads, but transparent, not like a form as if you would see me or you. So I saw them and basically asked, okay, what do we go through here? Everything is being put into place after you signed your soul contract. You've seen your life, you've agreed to it, you've signed your soul contract, then you go hang out on the moon. Like I was told I had a very long time that I spent before I came into this life because I was going to need it. Every tarot card reader, every psychic I've ever been to, doesn't matter. Whoever reads me always tells me that I have a massive connection to the moon. And I was just told that's because I spent so much time there so that I would be able to survive this lifetime. So I sent that information to Peter and I was like, what do you think about this? So, what do you think about this?
The moon is a lunar mirror. It's soul
Yes.
memory resonance, and it's the sacred feminine in the evolution of consciousness. And
Yes.
if to go back to the origin story, as far as I know, is what I would call planetary trauma birth, because 4.5 billion years ago, Earth was struck by a Mars-sized body called
Yeah.
Theia, and the impact tore away part of Earth's body, and the
Hmm.
debris coalesced into the moon. So she's made from the same matter as Earth, almost like a fragment of self,
Yeah.
circling forever, but symbolically, she's the emotional body born from rupture. So if
Yes.
the moon's existence began in trauma, what does that say about our emotional body forms? Okay, that's one thing. And what I found interesting about what you sent me, it made me think about the moon's single face, because we only see one face of it. And I always
Hmm.
wondered why. And there's a thing called tidal locking. If you imagine two dancers, one large, one small, they
Hmm.
spin freely until the larger gravity slowly catches the smaller, slowing her rotation until she faces her partner. So this is tidal locking. So
Yeah.
Earth's gravity raises tidal bulges on the moon, and
Hmm.
friction acts as a brake until her rotation matches her orbit. Now, one face always points to Earth,
Hmm.
and the far side is hidden without technology. So,
Right.
archetypally, I wonder if the visible face is our conscious emotional self, and the hidden face is our unconscious ancestral trauma, karmic residue, and unprocessed feelings. Humanity's been trained in projection. We
Mhm.
assume the visible is the whole,
Right.
and intuition, feeling what can't be seen. So it's a bit like reading a book with only half of its pages printed. You know the rest exists because
Yes.
the spine is thicker than the pages you can turn.
Yes.
I think the thing about it is the moon holds both. If the moon had shown us both faces from the start, would we have needed the concept of the shadow?
Right. And there's shadows in everything.
Yeah,
There's the opposite of everything in everything.
yeah.
Good, bad, whatever you want to, however you want to say it. And like when I was in the room, I was like, okay, take me there, show it to me. I want to see. And of course, I saw the beings that I described earlier, but they're crystalline beings, is what they are. And there's crystal cities, like we're healed by crystals in there. And even NASA has come out and said, like the astronauts that landed on the moon, when they crashed the order back into the moon, it sounded like a giant bell ringing. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of crystals and healing and frequency stuff going on in there.
It's interesting you had that experience because when you first visited the Akashic Records seeking the moon's role as a soul way station, I know you described these beings. Was there anything that you most vividly experienced about its teaching environment?
It was the same feeling like we have the full moon now. It's actually 100% full tomorrow, but like when you go outside and you look at a full moon, especially a super moon or one of the cardinal moons, or you feel it. Like it gives you peace, at least for me. Some people go crazy during full moons, but at least I feel love, I feel joy, I feel peace. I wish that somebody in a rocket ship would just come pick me up and drop me off up there and just let me hang out up there. Like I'm attracted to it. I want to draw it to me. Yeah.
Mm.
So I get those feelings from it. So when I go and I ask them to show me, okay, take me there, and then I astral project there, and I see these beautiful crystal cities. There's frequencies being played. All the souls that are there are just in energy form because they haven't taken on this bio body yet. And by the way, everybody, your energy, your soul, whatever you want to call it, holds your body. Your body does not hold your energy.
Mm.
So you need to reverse that if you still have that thinking because you need to let your energy just burst forth and be what it is. Don't try to put it within a box in your body. Anyway, but I saw all the souls there and it's not like it's an education and you're getting knowledge and you're being prepared, but it's obviously not in any way, shape, or form as we would imagine on Earth. You're getting prepared for the things that are going to come after you that could kill you for the times when you need to be strong. Like you're seeing your life play out like a movie is what you're going through. And because I'm such a deep empath, I had to stay up there for a long time because even now, like it is hard for me to want to stay on this planet. And the crazier it gets, the more I want to go. So, yeah, my education up there was like, she needs to stay here and simmer for a long time.
It's,
That was mine.
it's interesting from an evolutionary astrologer's lens. The moon symbolizes one's emotional heritage. So the baggage and gifts you've carried from past lives. And viewing the moon as a way station parallels the lunar nodes in the birth chart. So your
Mhm.
south node reveals your unconscious emotional patterns to release, but your north node points to the soul's next lessons. So when we understand our nodal axis alongside your moon placement, that can map precisely which lunar courses your soul has taken and which still lie ahead. We've got the triadic structure of the psyche in a way because the sun is our conscious identity, the moon is the soul's emotional memory, and our
Yeah.
ascendant is the interface with the world. But the moon is the resonant memory bank. So I would suggest without her, there is no evolution because
Yeah.
I ask myself this question: how much of our identity is simply my reaction to what once hurt?
And that's another thing you go through too, is because your past lives never leave you. Your energy keeps. I just pulled up my chart that you made me, my astrology chart. I'm trying to see, like,
Your moon's in Aries, isn't it?
yes, it's in
Yeah.
Aries.
So that's cardinal fire. The emotions are quick to flare,
Okay.
enthusiasm, impatience, assertiveness. Your needs are freedom to act on feelings, to initiate projects. The behaviors are impulsive decisions, direct communication, craving excitement. The shadow is irritability when you feel blocked or difficulty in waiting or listening.
Okay.
I have the very same, my moon's in Aries too, so I'm very familiar
Okay.
with it.
The North Node thing and the South Node thing. What are you talking about there?
Your north node is your growth edge, and your south node is your habits, your comfort zone.
Ah,
And
okay.
people are over dependent on their south node, on their
Okay.
comfort zone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That comes in with as tied to past lives and karmic imprints. So people
Yeah.
default to that very
Yes.
quickly, rather embarking on the walk to their north node.
Yeah. I'm just at the point now in life where I don't want to stay in a comfortable zone because that has not gotten me anywhere. I'm on this path of get out of my way. Like, where's the door? We're jumping out the door. Where is it? Like,
When you move towards your north node, you're not you're not earning divinity as such. You're shedding distortion. And as
yes.
you shed distortion, you continue doing that until
Hmm.
what remains shines with what was always true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, in a way, we are field collapsing into form.
Yes.
I sense we remember through resonance, not story, not just words.
And it's, yes, you have your subconscious of your brain, and yes, that holds memories from this life, but your energy holds your knowledge, your memories from every life, and they never go away.
Yeah.
So you'll find people that are scared of something, scared of heights, but they have no idea why. Like they that nothing has ever happened to them that would make them have this fear. Things like that you'll notice from past lives that are stored in your energy. And the further you go back with it, like when you get your Akashic records read and you start to get into your universal lives, those take like a little bit longer for people to digest until they get to that point of their journey and they're like, oh, okay. And then they see it and then they remember it and they're like, I remember my life there. So that's why when I give Akashic Records readings, I make a good PDF for people with references and links because I want you to keep looking at it. I want you to keep researching it until it clicks and you're like, I see it all now. And I see my life there and I see what it was because it's part of your energy. I can't make it click for you. And it's not me saying just keep thinking about it until you make it real in your mind. No, not at all. It's just you vibing it out.
I think it's important to also mention that from an archetypal point of view, the moon is the great mother archetype. She has
Yes.
containment, she has rhythm, she has nourishment.
Mhm.
She governs both safety and the fear of losing it. Trauma
Yes.
lives in repetition. So the moon
Yes.
shows where coping can become identity. If we are to have a ceremonial cue, is to have the hand over the womb and say, I return the shame that was never mine. I
Mhm.
receive the wisdom that was always ours. Because
Yes.
is your fear a memory or is it a message?
And thank goodness I've had the people around me that I've had around me because, like I've said in many podcasts, like I don't know how I'm still alive right now with everything that life has put me through over the last like couple of decades. I told the universe, I'm like, I need good people in my life. And so they've come into my life, and you're one of them. So thank you for that. But I promised my second mom, so like she's taken over because I lost my mom, that I would change my verbiage and I would keep doing this, like clear through this portal time and like just keep doing it. It has started to shift things around. And like I was already trying to change my attitude, everything like that, because when you've gone through something very traumatic for a very long time, you have a very hard time trusting anything. And it puts you in a negative spot. Like you're just always kind of, what now? I've been working very hard to take myself out of those spots and turn it around. And like in one of my meditation sessions, like working up to this portal time, I literally just crossed a line. Like literally, there was a line drawn in the dirt, like a line drawn in the sand. And that was literally me saying, I'm done. I am done with this crap. And I crossed over the line. And from that point on, it's like the verbiage has changed to no, I am instead of I will, like those kind of things. So lots of changes are going on, and I can feel so many shifts going on because of everything going on in the universe, plus the shifts that I'm purposely making. Like, how has all of this going on out in the atmosphere, then the universe affecting you? It's got to be affecting you too.
Before I go into that, one of the things I want to say is that there's lunar science in ancient civilizations,
Yes.
right?
Let's get back to that.
Right. So if we look at Egypt's temple alignments and we look at the Celtic stone circles and the
Hmm.
Maya calendar, ancient peoples treated lunar cycles as more than what is generally understood to be agricultural tools. They
That's
saw them
not.
as gateways to spiritual
Yes.
initiation. So their
Yes.
monuments and myths record a collective recognition that the moon imprints personality and destiny before birth.
Yeah.
Because I had to ask myself, which ancient culture's lunar practices, let me ask you, which ancient culture lunar practice resonated most deeply with your own Akashic explorations and why?
The Peruvians do a lot. I remember the portal that I came through. It's carved out of stone, but I came to them as not a human, but I spent a lot of time there. Anything Aztec always relates to me. 28 days will always flow with me just
Mm.
because I'm a woman and I'm Venus and Libra and all of those things too. So 28 days and actually even because I'm not all Libras are like this, and so I can't say this. It's just me, maybe. I don't know. But everything in my world also rotates counterclockwise because Venus does. When I cleanse myself with my pendulum, it goes counterclockwise. It doesn't do that for anything else but me. Yeah. So the moon affects me greatly, greatly. I think more than I've wanted to acknowledge, at least so far, up until this point in looking into this.
And getting the insight from these shared traditions that I was just talking about. And they reflect archetypal moon energies. And I'm
Hmm.
looking at this from an evolutionary astrologer's lens because these archetypal moon energies are embedded in the collective unconscious. And evolutionary astrology sees these archetypes manifest in personal charts through lunation phases and midpoint pictures and aspects to transformative planets like Pluto and Uranus. Pluto being transformation, Uranus being the awakener. And
Hmm.
when we trace back, if we trace the moon's mythic themes back to personal lunar placements, we can reconnect with ancestral and possibly galactic wisdom and
Hmm.
unlock dormant potentials and portals in our current
Yes.
lifetime.
Yeah. That was my goal when I was like, you're going to take me there. I went purposely to find myself there. And I did. I found myself there. It was interesting because I'm looking at all of this information and taking in all of this information and just, this is terrifying, right? And, but I've got all of this love and all of these beings around me. And of course, my parents, they went through this process too because they had to agree to bring me into this world. So I was thinking about all of that. And then I was like, can I interact with my past self? Because I can interact with versions of myself that I've bumped into going through time. But then I saw myself as a small child, and I was like, just remember you're going to be okay. And I like had that one brief interaction with myself. And then I was told that was all I was allowed to do. So I was like, okay. So I just left it there. But it was weird because I was a child, but I still felt the fear of what I was coming into, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very bizarre. That was the most bizarre life I've ever bumped into of mine in my life. But yeah, it was
And I
quite
think
interesting.
this is where we have to look at harmonics and we have to look at frequency,
Mhm.
not just chemistry, because
There
the
was a
moon,
lot of frequencies playing,
yeah.
lots of frequencies.
And I know in Robert Grant's framework, he talks about the moon being a scalar mirror where it
Hmm.
regulates coherence in our bioelectrical and psychological fields. So
Yeah.
understanding that, then does she function as a resonant filtration device, tuning consciousness towards entrapment or liberation, depending on coherence?
Yeah.
Because it's like, what is mine and what have I been echoing? If my emotions are not entirely my own, where do they
Hmm.
originate?
Yeah. But they are entirely your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But where do they originate?
From thousands and thousands of lifetimes.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm going to put this out there too because I had to double check this. There's another Akashic Records reader, and she's pretty dang famous, and she's on Gaia, and people probably know who I'm talking about. I did, while I was researching all of this, I did pull up a video of what she was saying about the moon. And she was saying it's part of the Draconians have it. No, the Draconians are the universal beings I've talked about quite often. I've drawn one because I was attacked by one. They're responsible for all the negative going on. They're responsible for the wars that have gone on in the universe and why Mars was blown up by nuclear war and all of these things. They do have a device, and I've sketched it in my Akashic Records books, and I didn't bring it out with me. I didn't even think about it right now, but it's got like all these weird cube things to it, and it's black. It's this matte black thing, but it's hidden, and it's got the tilt of the world off. And the more they manipulate the device, the more chaos that is happening in the world. And their original story is, yes, the Anunnaki are the ones who came up with developing Homo sapiens, and they were at first just to be a guard, like the Garden of Eden was a place, but not like in the Bible, but it's the place where they wanted to keep. It's like they finally got their life experiment of what they needed to happen on Earth to work. So we needed to protect it and let it grow and all of those things. And they were supposed to be the guards of the Garden of Eden. Then Enlil is the one that freed the people from the garden, gave them the knowledge. the, the the Bible does have true stuff in it, but it's just so skewed that it's like, what do we know is true? But so he freed them. After he freed them, then what happened over time is the Draconians overstood stood their bounds and took control and have made this planet even worse than it was when we had to cut off the wisdom from Atlantis and Lumeria, which is coming back. It will come back, but it is not a draconian device. I have been personally around these beings. I know what they feel like, and the moon feels nothing like this. And because I've seen their device and I've felt their device, it has nothing to do with the draconians. So I'm not sure where that particular person was getting her information, but that is not what I picked up at all to have anything negative to do with the moon. And I don't think that you feel anything negative about
I
it
don't
either.
actually at all, because
Okay.
I sense that when there is lunar memory activation, when you get eclipses and supermoons, and
Hmm.
you'll hear astrologers, on the internet talk about, hey, it's a new moon, or it's
Hmm.
eclipses and supermoons thin the veil between
Hmm.
our earthbound consciousness and lunar memory banks.
Yes.
And this is what I've experienced. It triggers spontaneous emotional insights. It can also
Yes.
trigger anxiety or bodily upsets as
Yes.
buried lessons surface. So it's really important to be able to observe intense lunar activations, dreams, sensations, revelations during eclipses or supermoons. And
Yeah.
from an evolutionary astrology lens, the eclipses align with karmic nodes and coincide, well, they often coincide with past life memory recalls. So when an eclipse activates your moon's natal degree or its aspects, it stirs deep archetypal material for integration. So journaling during these times, coupled with moon
Yes.
phase meditations, helps to anchor those insights into conscious evolution rather than overwhelm. So we
Yeah.
have to be able to integrate lunar wisdom on Earth, because I think the moon's lessons, if we are to look at it as lunar science and as a mirror, I think that
But it is science.
exactly.
Yes.
And I think that the moon's lessons between lives have the ability to equip us to fulfill specific spiritual tasks on earth, whether we're
Yeah.
healing trauma, manifesting creativity, guiding others. And I think tapping into this lunar wisdom
Right.
does require an ecology of conscious practices that bridge
Right.
soul memory with daily life.
Yeah. And when I was going in the records room and talking with the masters and seeing all the things I was seeing because of that other lady and the negative things that she was talking about, I'm like, the only thing that possibly is negative that is going on is just energies, souls that aren't evolving fast enough. And so they have to have more lives on Earth. Like I've had seven now that I've counted. And it's taken me a long time to get to this point where I know all of these things about the universe. I didn't know any of this stuff in my other lives on Earth. None of it. And they were horrid lives, like horrid lives. But everybody has to pass through the moon. Even this is how my friends will talk about people. But if we get around people that are very negative in life or very angry in life or blame avoidant or whatever, we always just say they haven't evolved very much, or if they've got negative spirits attached to them or whatever, but they still had to pass through the moon. There's only, you still have to remember that you have to make the decisions. And so if you're not willing to sit there and watch and learn all of the lessons that you need to learn and take them in and do your best, then you're going to have to come here and you're going to have to recycle again. Like it's just an ongoing pattern until you learn what you're supposed to learn.
Yeah, yeah.
And most universal beings do not choose to ever come here because they know how violent it is and they don't, yeah, they wouldn't make it here. And that's just a fact. And they recognize that as a fact. Like they applaud us folks that decide to come to Earth because they don't want to do it.
Something I was listening to the other day with Robert Grant, who's a polymath, and he talks about moving from tone to chord to harmonic. I think this is the whole thing of,
Frequencies.
yeah, but your tone is like your natural temperament. It's like your core vibration.
Hmm.
It's your values, your emotional baseline. So
Yes.
tuning your tone means cultivating self-awareness, with journaling and mindfulness, all these
Hmm.
practices, but recognizing your default reactions and strengths and learning
Yeah.
to listen to your inner landscape. But if we move to chord, and this is what I've got from it, is that the chord blends three or more notes into a single richer sound. This mirrors how multiple qualities like emotional intelligence and resilience and communication come together to support you. So when you form your personal development chord, in other words, when you combine self-awareness, tone, with new competence, notes,
Mhm.
and harmonize your habits and balance your contrasts, then you move into a harmonic. You
Mhm.
have an emergent resonance and mastery. And the
Yes.
harmonics, those subtle overtones that naturally arise when a note or a chord rings true, which then
Yes.
creates depth and warmth and resonance. And
Yes.
for human beings, for our species, this is the synergy and flow we feel when our skills, our purpose, our relationships, they all resonate in alignment. And people talk about this harmonics growth. People talk of this like flow states and magnetic presence and sustainable impact. It made me wonder about how that reflects the triadic structure of the psyche as well. I was thinking about sun, planet, moon, because I
Hmm.
would do from an astrological point of view.
Yeah.
So there's a harmonic geometry in all of this.
Yep.
And if you look at a new moon as an example, it's a seed in darkness. The first
Hmm.
quarter of a moon is a tension of growth. A full
Yeah.
moon is illumination, and the
Yeah.
last quarter is integration or repetition. But
Yeah.
so these are neurological tides. And this is why we're saying it's a science. Because
Hmm.
are we aware of the rhythm that we embody, or do we just unconsciously echo the one that's imposed upon us?
See, that's a trick too. If you guys ever want to get in touch with your frequency or start to hear the frequencies of the things around you, one, you have to learn to be very quiet. But I've learned to tap into mine. Mine's a bit high pitched. I can tap into the ones in the trees and the plants now. If you want to, even after this, after I went into the records room and all of that, I pulled up the sounds of the moon, like NASA files, and I was just listening just to see you could hear. There's so many frequencies being played at once that it does sound like music. It sounds like eerie music with some wind blowing through it. But yeah, but you can hear frequencies, you can hear tones in there. That's, and if you, I feel if I concentrated on it enough, even just to go out because the full moon's tomorrow and just meditate, like focus, heavy focus on it, I will be able to just hear it on my own. So that's my goal for tomorrow. So
Beautiful.
if you guys want to practice learning how to hear frequencies, you just have to get quiet. You have to put like your hand against the tree and just start to listen to it. Now I'm to the point where I hold out my hand and I'm like giving that frequency back and the tree is coming to me. And this it's not wind, like you can tell, you can feel the energy like coming to you and communicating with you. So everything gives off frequency.
Mm.
Anything that is alive gives off frequency. So you just have to learn it.
Yeah, it's a very good point that, and it's a good practice as well when you attune yourself, because when you do that, you get coherence. If you want to heal what I would call the lunar body, I would suggest that the moon encodes our pre-verbal limbic memory. So you can't reason with her, but you entrain to coherence through rhythm
Hmm.
and safety.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can we include a coherence ceremony or even a womb coherence ceremony? What
Yes.
if our wombs are simply our waveforms asking to be tuned?
That's exactly what I picked up when I was in the room. I saw a fetus like floating in the sack, and it was like I could see the pulses coming through from frequencies. Yeah.
Maybe then the moon mirrors our coherence. So maybe she waits not to fix us, but to reflect us
Yeah.
until we remember the rhythm that makes
Right.
us whole.
Yeah.
So,
That's part of the your whole journey is just you can't even make anything happen in your life until you already have it in your head. I am that.
yeah.
I am that. I think it's the same with the moon. And then you start getting tuned in with their frequencies more, and you're going to start being more pulled to her. And you can make contact with your lives on the moon too before you came here.
Mm.
And there's many of them. I only went to the one before I came to this life. So, because time is fluid, you guys don't ever forget that. I've bumped into future persons of myself. I bumped into past people of myself because I go astral projecting all the time. So, your future can always change. You can make your future whatever you want, but you will bump into your future selves. It's quite interesting.
I think
It,
this is why moon mirrors your coherence.
yeah,
I sense she waits not to fix you, but to reflect you
yes,
until you
exactly.
remember the rhythm that makes you whole. So,
Yes,
can we have a ceremonial cue? Would be if I put my hands on my chest and say, I trust the rhythm beneath my memory. I'm ready
hmm
to reflect truth.
yeah,
Because what would awaken if our rhythms aligned our soul's harmonic fields,
exactly.
right?
You would be vibrating so high. Like it would be amazing. That feeling would probably feel I feel like when I'm astral projecting and I don't want to come back to Earth. It's like it would just feel amazing.
Mm.
Yeah.
And new moon, I've also noticed that when I was looking at charts of new moon souls, they bring fresh intuitive energy.
Yes.
Full moon births carry heightened sensitivity and boundary challenges. When one has a full moon birth, it amplifies empathy, but it also beckons mastery over emotional boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's important to recognize. There could be a program or a workshop to integrate lunar wisdom on Earth because
Yeah.
even in this conversation,
Everything in the ancient times went by 28.
exactly,
Everything.
exactly. And ultimately, the moon's lessons between lives have the ability to equip us to fulfill specific spiritual tasks on Earth.
Yeah.
And
And if, oh, go ahead. If you could get more in touch, you can get with that, the better and faster, the better off you're going to be.
mm, when you're talking about the Akashic records, it makes me think about when you have conscious moon cycle practices, that bridges Akashic wisdom with daily
Mhm.
spiritual growth.
Yeah.
Because the ancient lunar sciences reflected archetypal energies that we personalize through our moon placements.
Yes. Think about how everybody is really just thinking about it. Myself is making me go blah, because modern man goes by the sun for the calendar. And it's throwing people off. Like when I just sat there and thought about it, I thought about how much that's actually throwing me off. But it is because I'm being forced into a different timeline when that's not the natural timeline. Like 30 days, 31 days is not a natural timeline.
When you collapse your field into form, like the moon, okay, so I'm talking about the correspondence to the Great Mother archetype. Not
Yeah.
this isn't about mothers per se. It's
Right.
about the field of containment. So
Right.
the first resonance you ever knew, because before thought, before language, there was rhythm, there was
Yes.
heartbeat, there was the
Right.
sound of blood moving. So is she nourishment, rhythm, and enclosure and feeling? Not only
hmm
the breast and the womb, but the etheric echo of what
hmm
it meant to be held.
Yes.
because her presence is not loud, but it's
No.
insistent.
Yes.
So, does it call us back to safety, to memory, to regression when we are afraid? I also sense that it's not, the moon doesn't govern just safety, but the fear of its loss. There's the whispers are protect yourself, do what is familiar, remember what once felt true. And it's in this whisper that trauma lives, not always as pain, but as repetition. So you do not suffer because you forget, you suffer because you remember too well. So when you
Yes.
understand your moon placement, that means understanding what your inner child never stopped doing to survive, and it reveals where your coping strategies became identities. And
Hmm.
beyond personal experience, the moon also carries the matrilineal field, the mother line. It encodes not just emotional tendencies, but the vibrational patterns of those who came before. So,
Yeah.
mothers,
Yes.
grandmothers, ancestral wombs. I think this is
Yes.
why when I'm working with moon placements, there is a healing of the collective feminine because it brings coherence to the ancient rhythm of receptivity. And I go back to this question, is my fear a memory or is it a message?
It could be both.
Or what have we mistaken
Isn't a
pers-
memory just a message? If you think of memory like history, we're supposed to learn from history. We're supposed to learn from
Mm.
our memories. So it's a message too.
And what if the part of you that longs for love is also the part of you that's terrified of receiving it?
Well, then you have to do like I do, and you have to start opening your heart back up to it, which I've been doing that. So I'm like, I deserve to have a person. Like, yes, every time I've opened the door, a bunch of crap came walking in, but that's not going to happen this time. I'm like, that's not happening this time. Yeah.
Mm.
So I'm putting it out there like that. Like, my equal is coming now into my life, whoever that may be, and that's what's happening. Nobody
Mm.
else, just my equal. Because if I'm not with my equal, then it's just not even worth my time. It's not worth anybody's time.
That's a really good thing because that's when I was talking earlier about boundaries, about setting those
Yes.
boundaries, because boundaries can become battlefields, especially
Yes.
when you don't put them in place.
Yeah. I walked around for a very long time, especially in my 30s, because that was after like a horrible marriage and that. So in my 30s, I became very guarded. Like I was still super nice and my empathic self and all of that, and animals flocked to me and all of that. But if you would notice me sitting in a room that was starting to file in with people, they would do anything they could to avoid sitting next to me. And that's because I was literally putting out that stay the fuck away from me
Yeah.
vibe. Yeah. So, like, I've had to do a lot of work on myself,
Mm.
lots of work.
This is interesting because your body is not simply synchronized to the moon's phases, it's harmonized to her frequencies. So we
Hmm.
think of the moon as a biological modulator that not only reflects solar light, but regulates how that light converts into emotional rhythms, hormonal tides, like the tides in the ocean, and
Hmm.
instinctive behavior,
Yep.
right? So it holds that vertical axis of depth of memory of the
Hmm.
feminine field of collapse. And it's the
Right.
moon that stabilizes the waveform of emotion long enough for it to become human.
Hmm.
Because many traditions suggest the moon was not always here, that it
Right.
was placed, not naturally formed, but engineered. Now, I don't know about that, whether literal or symbolic. The implication is powerful that the moon may operate as a resonant filtration device, tuning human consciousness to cycles of emotional entrapment or liberation. But again, that depends on our coherence. So
Right.
is the moon is the moon a memory keeper, but also a conscious modulator? Not evil, not benevolent, but a mirror to
Yeah.
reveal her hidden life. We must stop projecting onto her. We
Hmm.
must listen. And I think you highlighted this with the NASA listening to the moon sounds, because
Hmm.
it makes me think that we mustn't listen just with our ears or with our eyes, but with our rhythm.
Yes. Yeah. And the earth has a heartbeat too.
Yeah.
And they've even showed like like you can see it with whatever they measured it with. Yeah.
Mm.
So I've always known the earth is alive, but yeah. And the moon, as far as I have gotten the story through the Akashic records, is what you were talking about earlier. There was a collision between Earth and another planet, and the moon became our satellite from
Mm.
that collision. And then the asteroid belt formed too from that collision.
When I'm doing chart, I always look at the south node and north node because I'm intrigued by our karmic imprints and our growth edges. The south node of the moon is the residue of the past. It's not
Hmm.
bad, it's simply known. And the north
Yeah.
node is the pull of the future. It's not
Yeah.
better, it's just unfamiliar. So the South Node, if we look at it in harmonic language, and this is Robert Grant's language, but I'm using it because I find it really fascinating. So the South Node could be your body's echo pattern, almost like a waveform that repeats until it collapses into integration. Whereas
Hmm.
your North Node is your waveform in potential, a higher harmonic,
Hmm.
unfamiliar, uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah.
So
And
to
that's the trick people got to get into. Like you have to
exactly,
be willing to take that step and take the leap to
yeah.
make the change.
So together they form the evolutionary tension between memory and mission.
Yeah.
We all come into this life with habits, but we
Hmm.
also come in with codes.
Yes.
I term it, we come in with micro coded compact essences.
Yes.
So the south
We're
node,
technology.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the south node shows what's encrypted in our lunar field, but the north node shows the upgrade and elevation you were born to install if you choose.
Yeah.
Like I always say, a
Yeah.
chart will only show you the choices you have, not the choices you will make. So
Right.
are we evolving or are we perfecting the past? And what if our purpose isn't to become someone, but to become coherent? And what if discomfort is the proof that we are retuning?
Yeah. All of this discomfort is definitely the retuning. You've
Mm.
got not only myself, but people like Dolores Cannon, other people that are very in tune with what's going on around the universe and the Earth. The Earth is shifting into its new reality. And so that's why all the people that are in charge and all of these old power structures and the way that we learned in school and all of these things, the younger generations, it started in the 60s, but from then on, we don't want anything to do with this crap. And we have been saying it for years, decades. But world governments don't care. The rich don't care because they just want to line their pockets. And yeah, only
So,
reason we're going to take this down is to keep going for that higher point
mm,
and not being afraid of what is there because you haven't seen it yet.
okay, another thought's come to mind that if we are the field that has collapsed into form, is the moon a sacred mirror of the field? Because yes, the mirror reflects the sun's light, but does it also reflect our soul's coherence? Is she the visible face of the invisible field? She shows you what you feel before you think. She holds the pattern of what you inherited before you could choose, and she waits.
Yeah.
And again, it's not to fix you, but to mirror you until we
Right.
remember that rhythm that makes us whole.
There as a control mechanism
No.
to make you remember because that could be very dangerous. You
Yeah.
have to remember on your own.
And so, what would happen if we trusted our reflection? What would happen if our rhythms finally matched our soul's harmonic field? I always wonder what waits on the other side. This might be an Akashic Records
Yes.
thing on the other side of coherence.
So I'm just being channeled. Sometimes I get channeled by an Octurian called Romulus because I keep asking him all the time what's going to happen to the Earth. We have a lot of conversations. But if everybody starts tapping in to their higher frequency and can resonate that with the moon, that bell sound is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just starts to crush everything that's negative, is what I just got told. It joins in with the conscious collective. So the moon is part of the good conscious collective. But the bigger you make your sound, not that you have to be like it's subtle, like you said, love and healing is subtle. So it's subtle, but you got to start listening for it and tapping into it. And so I'm actually getting like a picture of it's me, but like focusing, especially on a full moon, because I was born on a full moon. But I'm just going to sit there and stare at her until I actually hear something back. And I will start to hear something back. That's what I've been told. So, new experiment. We're doing that
Interesting.
tomorrow.
Interesting.
I love experiments. Cool. Now
Yeah.
I'm excited. Yeah. Go on top of your roof tomorrow, Peter. Start
Oh,
to listen to
well,
the moon.
I'll probably go on to the moors actually. You get more horizon thinking. It's so
Hmm.
vast and open.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. They actually do photography. What's it called? Not lunar photography. I can't think of the name. Not star photography. No, what's the
Like
name?
the still motion or like where it records all night and then you can
Yeah,
like,
they
yeah, yeah.
photograph the stars and the Milky Way. They start about midnight, but you can go and join a whole group up there. It's fascinating
Nice.
actually, because you recognize that you're like this small
Yeah.
in the vastness of
Yes.
this whole in what we see as our galaxy,
Yes.
although there are billions of galaxies out there. There's a reverence, I always feel, and a humbleness, because one of the things that I do as a practice is I watch my moon sign to tune into my fluctuating emotional needs. When you do that, you practice its highest expression. If you've got moon in Aries, which is impatience, yet you learn to cultivate patience. You
Yeah.
know, if you've got your moon in Virgo, you then
Right.
organize. If your moon is in Leo, you play, but you
Right.
notice the shadow tendencies as invitations for inner growth. When we travel with the moon through these signs, you learn to meet each facet of your soul's emotional curriculum, just as you would in that lunar university between
Hmm.
lives.
And like I said, a lot of people they don't stay there long. Whatever the reason is, they don't want to take in all the knowledge, but they've signed their soul contract and they've agreed to come here. Those people that get stuck in very low vibrational lives, now I have to start to ponder about them in an even a further depth. Okay. Like one, I know it's a choice that they're choosing to be stuck there. You have to make the choice to change your life.
Sure.
But they obviously didn't come through the portal and come to this life in a very good state to begin with. Yeah, so I'm still trying to figure out that part of it because I've had crappy lives on this earth, and so that question now is popping in my head like, okay, why would anybody sign up for that garbage. So now I'm trying to figure out that part of it in the earth or the moon, sorry, and how that fits into our Akashic records and our soul contract because there are just people on this earth that just they never evolve. They hate change. They're just negative. They have negative attachments, whatever it is, and that's just how they are their whole life.
Yeah, South Node dominance.
Yeah,
And there's nothing wrong with having that South Node dominance because your people have free will, they have choice. If they
right.
choose not to evolve, that's down to
Exactly.
them.
Yeah.
One of the things, as an aside, that's come up from your Akashic Records revelation about those crystalline beings that you encounter, I wonder if these are guardians of our lunar emotional alchemy.
Oh, they were alchemists. Yes. I could tell just from their energy, they were
And
alchemists.
I also wonder if these beings facilitate examination of attachment patterns and relationship choice and reaction that shapes our next incarnation. Was there anything surprising to you that these lunar beings revealed about their own emotional history?
I didn't get into that far because I was more of this was the first time I
I
encountered
thought
them. So I
so.
was like, oh, just, but I could hear and see that they work with frequency. I could see crystals all around. They could shift in and out of form. They were ringing with resonance. And just those things that were coming off of them, it was just like the love you would feel like hugging your dog. But they weren't touching anybody. They don't touch anybody. It's just all just going on around you. I didn't see them touch anybody. And but I did ask the question, like, okay, are these beings other universal beings that have lived whatever lives and then chose to come here and do this work? Did they make this choice? And I did get the answer yes. So they've formed into something else. And now this is what they do.
Interesting.
So from where they've come from, I don't know. I don't know if I didn't get into if it's more than one type of
Mm,
universal being yet, but I did get that yes, they shifted into these crystalline beings and they did it on purpose. That might have been like their purpose for the earth, and that was their soul contracts. But yeah, there was a
mm,
shift. And there
mm,
was lots of colors, just colors running through them. All just colors everywhere.
mm,
I couldn't stop looking at them because they were so beautiful. It very strange, but very beautiful. That's I'm not even coming up with creative words because I was just like, wow. Yeah. And it takes a
mm,
lot for me to say wow anymore because I've seen a lot of stuff. But that was a wow moment. Yeah. That was really cool.
mm.
Thank you, Edgar Casey.
Yeah, this has been a great conversation. And I think it's my sense is really about, I'm trying to think of an invocation about having an embodied presence. And I want to leave listeners with this. Wherever you are, settle into stillness. Let your breath guide you, not outward into distraction, but inward into sensation. The quiet rhythm you feel within you is not yours alone. It is ancient. It is
Mhm.
lunar. I think that in this conversation, we're not discovering lunar science and the material you sent me, which was fascinating, not as astronomers, but as soul voyagers, not as
Right,
intellectuals, but as
right.
witnesses of feeling. I sense now that we began where all memory begins in the dark, not in
Yeah.
the darkness of absence, but of gestation. Because
Hmm.
what does it mean that the moon has no light of her own, but governs the tides, the womb, and the
Hmm.
unspoken song of the subconscious? Is
Yeah.
it not precisely because she reflects rather than projects that her power runs so deep?
Yeah. And she's birth too. She represents birth. So very powerful things going on the moon. And like I said, that's just from that. I only went in once to find out about this topic. I'm going to keep going back in. I just haven't had a chance to yet. So I want to get more information, definitely, and maybe contact some other past versions of myself and see what's going on there. But in anybody that ever wants to learn these things, to learn these skills, I have no problem teaching these things to people. You just have to message me. That's all you got to do. Yeah. And even me and my friend that I do a lot of energy healing business type work stuff, like she's saying the same thing. Everybody needs to start teaching people the things that they know because that's going to raise the consciousness even higher.
Mm.
So your specialty might not be Akashic records like mine is, but they still coincide with each other.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can still go in there and you can still ask them questions about your own life. So, yeah, everybody needs to start. I can't understand astrology. I tried. So, you won't have to worry about that. But anybody that wants to learn anything, just message. Just start reaching out to people. Start making your friend circles of your energy healers and the people that you know that our healers can calm you down, can tell you what's going on in the universe, like Peter here, can unlock your past lives, like me, because you're going to need it. You're going to need this circle of people around you. So start gathering them up.
Mm. That's
That-
beautiful. It's been a profound conversation, as always,
As
Raven.
always. Yeah.
And I can only endorse what you do with the Akashic Records. I've had a wonderful reading from you, a couple actually, which made a lot of sense and spurred me on to look deeper into it. Yeah, and I think this is the ripple effect that we're both trying to do, where you can stand at the edge of a pristine pond and there's two approaches. In one hand, you hold a large boulder, in the other, a small pouch filled with pebbles. You heave the boulder into the water, splash. The impact is dramatic. It's immediate. It's impressive. And this
Yeah.
massive wave radiates outwards and disturbs everything in its path. And for a moment, the entire pond seems transformed. But when
Hmm.
you watch carefully, within minutes, the water settles. The
Yep.
surface returns to its mirror-like calm, as if
Mhm.
that momentous disruption never occurred.
Yes.
But
Yes.
now you begin dropping pebbles, which is what I see we're doing. One, two, three. And each
Yeah.
creates very modest ripples, which may are not that impressive. They might even seem insignificant compared
Hmm.
to the boulder's grand entrance. Something remarkable happens because as you continue this gentle, persistent rhythm, the ripples begin to intersect to amplify each other,
Yep.
creating interference patterns that grow more complex and far reaching than any single stone could achieve. And I think
Yep.
this is a profound metaphor for transforming our possibilities.
Yeah. Everybody out there, like, give me your thoughts, write a comment on one of our YouTube pages, what your thoughts are on this, because I would love to hear anybody's thoughts. Nobody be rude, please. If you don't believe, then just stay off the channel. You don't have to come here. But please comment because I want to see what other people have experienced with this.
Absolutely. Raven, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to have this dialogue with you.
Yeah, this is awesome, as always.